Now it's time for America's favorite game show, Was the World Wrong? Matt, was the world wrong that Trevor Lawrence was a generational prospect? He's 1-10 in his last 11 games, and at some point you just got to win. Doesn't matter who's around you. Doesn't matter the coach. You just got to win.
You don't have to tell me any stats. The world was really wrong. He's not a generational quarterback. He's nothing. He's nothing. He's just a guy.
I think we all thought he was. I had given up on him.
He's not.
This year.
He's not like the worst. He'll be a starter for a bunch of years, but like to call him a bust is an understatement. He's not a winning player.
Well, he just got a new 5-year contract, so you got to think at least 4 of those years he's going to be at least in the mix as a starter for the Jaguars.
They'll keep trying, and then he'll probably be a journeyman backup after that.
Matt, was the world wrong that Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback?
No, the world is not wrong about Dak Prescott being a top 10 quarterback. He is a top 10 quarterback. He just doesn't have any help around him other than CeeDee Lamb. And when you have a one-dimensional offense with a one-dimensional play caller and a one-dimensional owner and a one-dimensional coach, it's stacked up against him.
That is a very fair point. Now, let me just give you the counter. And I don't necessarily disagree with you, but let me give you counter stats. He's only won 2 playoff games in his career. I think he's second in the league in passing yards, but all of it is in garbage time. Against the Ravens, against the Lions, which they eventually pulled him, against the Saints. I mean, this year.
But let's be real. This team has no chance this year.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But they have. I mean, it's just a dead year, and you can mask it. You can try to pull out some games and have a playoff berth and lose in the wild card season. But no, I mean, the Ravens have had these years too, and other good franchises have had these seasons. Not so much the Chiefs since Mahomes, but there's a lot of there's probably 2 Flacco years where the Ravens didn't make the playoffs because there was just too many auxiliary problems. There's just whether it wasn't any receivers, whether it wasn't any run game. You have to have a good team around you, even if you're Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. They both struggled in years where their teams were a mess.
Now, Matt, I'm bringing back a Was the World Wrong from last week, and I ask you again. Was the world wrong that the London games are stupid and boring?
I think that they're not necessarily planning them out wonderfully, but I will never not like waking up on a Sunday morning and having an extra game to watch. That's so fun, and it also, for the league's purposes, completely spreads the game around Europe and London and creates an atmosphere and money and helps everybody really.
But the question is, are they stupid and boring? And 90% of these London games are borderline unwatchable.
I didn't find this one to be boring because I watched Caleb Williams come out of basically his coming out party. He was finally able to throw the ball around the field. DeAndre Swift looked like he was DeAndre Swift from like college. It was interesting.
Yeah, I find most of these London games boring. And like, while I do love being able to wake up and watch football, like we're on the West Coast, these games are just horrible games. They need to schedule it better. It's really frustrating.
So for me, if you're looking at a boring game, is any game with like the Panthers or the Colts, teams that just don't have exciting teams,
or the Jaguars.
The Jaguars can the Jaguars can have some fireworks. Don't get it wrong. The Jaguars can have some exciting games, and they've had some this year already. They've lost some close games. It's just a problem for them. And Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson, if you look around, who's having the biggest problem recently? The 70-year-old offensive coordinators and play callers. They're having the biggest problems. I think a lot of them are just getting schemed out of the league.
Yeah, I agree. I think once you hit I think 70 is probably the threshold. You might want to just stop calling plays because it's probably passed you by.
Right. There's innovation every day, week, year. When you're 70 years old, you think you want to innovate? You think somebody wants to sit there and try a new form of offense or a new motion scheme? No. They think that they know everything because they've been telling people what to do for 50 years.
Matt, my final Was the World Wrong, and this is a personal one. I went apple picking this weekend with my wife and her family. We love going apple picking, but the apples were all horrible. They were all marked up. They were all bruised.
Why?
They said because of the rain, there was like the excess rain, there was like a fungus that made the apples look like it wasn't hurting humans, but it made them all like have like brown spots all over them. So my was the world wrong was if the apples at the apple picking farm are bad, should you get your money back for going to the apple picking farm?
Do you get your money back?
Yeah.
You have to pay. Don't you just have to pay for the amount of apples that you pick?
Yeah, but like it's an experience, Matt, and they should give me a deep, deep discount on those apples.
I'm not a big fan of people that ask for their money back when they attempt to do something. I think anytime you attempt to do anything, you're taking a risk that it might suck, and you should be responsible for whatever the outcome is.
But why are you allowing people to apple pick if the apples are shite?
That is a good question. Probably because it's their jobs and they have families to feed.
Well, you're taking this question way too seriously for me, Matt, because this was supposed to be lighthearted, and now I feel bad for bitching.
Well, when you start going in on the working man, you woke son of a bitch, you start going in to where it really counts for me. Because I care about the people who take care of their families. Unlike you think they should all take care of you. It's all about you. But no, the apple pickers need you to be there so that you can help them feed their families.
Matt,
and then you want to take money back from them.
I didn't realize you were in the pocket of big apple picking. Now I know. They've been lobbying you for years, and you finally caved.
I got
son of a biscuit.
I got a few shekels in Big Apple, but that's okay. That's okay. That's not that. There's nothing to do with it. The employees are secondary, but it's behind you besmirching the name of apples in general. Now people are going to be looking for brown spots and questioning their apples.
Which you should be looking for brown spots when you're picking apples.
Were you or were you not told that it was safe?
I was told that it was safe, but I'm not picking.
Then why are you
I'm not picking gross-looking apples. I'm there to pick pristine apples that I can cut up and give to my daughter, and she not be like, "Daddy, why are these apples so gross-looking?" That's not something I want to deal with, Matt.
Also, apples are way better for drinking than eating.
No, I disagree with that.
I don't like apples.
No,
horrible mouthfeel.
I mean, you must be eating shitty apples.
I hate biting them. I hate chewing them. I don't like the skin. Just not an apple guy. But I do like I do like Snapple apple though. Top-notch apple beverage.
White House is also very good apple juice. Which I haven't had apple juice in 15 years, but I used to love me some apple juice. Musselman's apple juice, delicious.
That's not a real thing.
Yes, it is.